Hey folks, welcome to another VR video. As you can see, as I turn around, I'm in the doorway of an office and I'm about to play the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe in virtual reality. The Stanley Parable has been around for at least a decade. A friend of mine sent me this game because he thought I would dig it because of the types of books that I read, and he was right. Now, there is a VR mod. At least it's in the works. It's still a little bit buggy, but we're going to go ahead and begin the game here.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
You can see I have
Employee
hands.
number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting,
So the screen
or
kind of
even
follows
say
my
hi.
eyes for
Never
this
in
opening
all
sequence.
his years at the company had this happened. This complete
Oh,
isolation.
here we go.
Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and
That's
stepped
cool.
out of his office.
Alright, so now, this is entirely 3D geometry. Oh wow, I could actually read the recommendations from the Oversight Committee. That's cool. I can't read these in the game when I play on the standard PC version. Oh look, down here, Partition Corp providing partitions for 56 years. Let's see here. I hate, is that Mondays? Yeah. So again, unless I'm pivoting around and changing camera angle to ways that you can't actually change it, this is fascinating. It truly is. I'm actually inside the world of the Stanley Parable, and every time somebody makes a mod or a VR version of a game, I mean, this is outstanding, and the graphics are so
All
crisp.
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let's see what this says here. A short history of the relations between Poland and Austria-Hungary. I can't read the smaller text. I'm sure I could if I actually moved around a bit.
No matter how hard Stanley looked,
Who
he
farted?
couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Yeah, I'm not looking for my coworkers. I'm looking at their desks because it's fun. Number one, Dad. And it's installing Chart Pro 2.01. Program files, Chart Pro, something. Looks like a DLL file. This is so cool. Just exploring. I like work, I just hate my boss. And then another one that says smile, but it's all uneven. This painting is awesome. I love how they've dressed this office with parts that typical players are never going to see, if that makes sense. Be my Valentine. I guess I should actually start getting to the game, but I mean, honestly, every desk is doing something different. There's different components, different... Oh, a file folder. I can't grab anything, unfortunately. I don't even know what the pointer actually does, to be perfectly fair. Maybe it's important at some point. But most of this is what nowadays they would call a walking simulator, and you'll see what that means as we go. Here are 2 doors.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, Stanley did not enter the door on his left.
This
Stanley
was
entered
not the
door on
correct
his
way
right.
to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah, that's what it was. I wanted to go to the employee lounge first. Like, even these keep dry boxes, like, can I read a full address on here? No, the address is thankfully blurred out. It'd be kind of cool if I could. So here we are in the employee break room.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
I agree.
Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took
So
the
you'll
first
notice
open door on his left.
It was an open door, but now it's a closed door. So here they want us to take this door to the left. We'll skip that. There's kind of some drafting tables here. I like the wood here from like the broken window. That's pretty sweet too. So we're on A4. Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I even like this office chair. Like, everything looks super realistic. This is great. This is, all VR games should have this level of, I don't want to call it realistic graphics because it's not really what it is, but like detailed graphics.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Do you
I'm
now?
not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
How's it
There's
now?
someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you... What? Really?
Yeah,
I was in
really.
the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
I am.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
My side, okay. Can't read this box, and that bothers me after being able to read everything else so far. This is very cool. No buckets past this point. Is there a bucket that I can pick up? Cargo.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Please, Stanley's not going to walk through the door that you want him to.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
No.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Didn't misunderstand.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Look at all those arrows.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed
This is
developer
cool.
textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before.
The ceiling lights are
Go ahead,
unfinished.
Stanley. Take it for a spin.
So we're going to take the third option here.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices?
Yes.
Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look. Stanley, oh, worldwide leaderboard. Nice. Good old Neil is offline. 2 seconds. All these doors closed. Awards won. Okay. Where am I? Stanley is 9,328th. Last worldwide. Okay, we're going to go through the orange door here again.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Especially seeing the place I was in.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
Let's give it a shot.
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Okay. I don't think I'm going to move this baby for 4 hours. Sorry, baby.
You heartless bastard.
I am.
Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try.
Good.
I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? Man. What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley.
I do too.
And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
So, obviously, this is Firewatch that I've been booted into. I'm sure I'm not going to get to play the full game of Firewatch here, but I do want to mention the same person, I think it's Raiku Parta, who made the mod that I'm playing right now for the Stanley Parable, also made a mod called Two Forks for Firewatch, and I'd be able to have this type of virtual reality experience. This is trippy, being in a different game in this game. Now, I do mention here, it does say Supplies for 2 forks right there. So this is very realistic. This is the Firewatch tower that you play in the game Firewatch. This is outstanding. The fact that they added... I'm assuming this has probably been in the game. I do want to mention this is the Ultra Deluxe version of the Stanley Parable. Whereas I'm used to playing the older version and just recently got this. Okay, so those propane tanks are still there. Like, everything about the level design here is a copy from the level design of the real game. This is very sweet. Let's see how far we can get before, I'm assuming, we get dropped in another door or something of that nature.
Oh, no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
Haha, there it is.
Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
Yeah, I can't get past these walls. I was hoping I could.
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Oh, loading into something else. Nice, Rocket League.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind.
I've
Just
not
a nice
seen
big
Rocket
box
League
for
like
you to
this
run around
in VR.
There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
This is so cool.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Nice. Let's go for it. I feel like I'm actually smacking
Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? No. Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience.
Maybe.
I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes! Oh, goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it?
It does.
Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls!
Whoa! I think it felt that I was failing here. All right. Let's go! Oh!
Hold on. What are you doing?
Alpha. Uh-oh.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Trying to find a spot that actually has a path. Because that seems to be a hole. There seem to be holes in every direction here. I don't have a flashlight to go in a specific path. Maybe we'll follow the filing cabinet's way. Whoops. Yeah, they all have us fall. Ooh, we're on the 5th floor instead of the 4th floor now. Look at how disrepair this is. I guess we're going this way. This is kind of cool. Look at this. I mean, obviously they want us to go toward the light, right? Look into the light. And suddenly we're on the 4th floor again? The computers are very different here. Very different. I wonder, actually. Can I stick my... Nope. Genius. I cannot stick my head through textures. This is such a well-done mod. So 427, of course, used to be our desk. From in here, we now have much, much different materials. It looks like security cameras in there. That's interesting. So if we head back down this hallway, obviously it's going to take us somewhere else. Ah.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
So that was a fun ending. I enjoyed that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So we're going to actually
When
follow
Stanley
directions.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
And here's the meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
We're broke
Stanley
Wednesdays.
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How does it solve a dispute with a coworker? Let it ball up inside you? Aw, man, I wish the slide had not changed. I was reading that. But again, I can do that exploration at a later date. For now, I'm just going to try to follow the
Coming to a
directions and be
staircase,
compliant and see what
Stanley
happens.
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
It's a heck of an office, if I do say so myself. Executive bathroom? What? I wonder if I have permission to use the executive bathroom. Don't mind if I do. Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes. If the boss has suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. Extreme bathrooms. Can I flush the toilet? No. Can I take toilet paper? No. But hey, we found the executive bathroom. That's pretty cool. I'm assuming this is the boss's assistant's desk. Let's, can't really read these. Still the short history. Unfortunately, similar copy text from other offices. So here we are.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Interesting. So again, this is a compliant path, whereas that last one was very non-compliant. We don't seem to have any other means than this one. Taking this elevator down.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
So it says Mind Control Facility in front of me. And again, I'm trying to be compliant this path, but look at this one says Escape. Such a hard choice. We're going to stay compliant. Let's see what happens.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Let's find out. So this is all interesting. Oh, turn the cameras on.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
247 is down there. There's like some file cabinets where I'm at.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
How will I dismantle the controls once and for all? I just push this button? What's that? No. Okay. Oh. I guess I have to go up into this room. Again, I'm doing this fully compliant. System power off.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him.
That's right.
For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ah. Happy Stanley. What a blissful way to end. Of course, there's never an end. We'll do one more
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
Just for not getting fired.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Such good slides. And so truthful.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying, and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Very true.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back.
I'm comfortable.
The fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Ah. I'm not okay. I'm in the same spot I was.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariela.
Oh.
Mariela woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Wow.
And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. Well, that wasn't as happy and uplifting as I thought it was going to be to end this. But I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been a look at the StanleyVR mod for the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I'll be back with more content soon. Until next time, get out there and enjoy some VR for yourself. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye now. Alright, Stanley. Let's go for the left door this time, and then...
All of his co-workers were
maybe
gone.
that escape
what
route?
What could it mean? Stanley decided